Hello guys, it's Sunday, so you know we're doing a new episode of Top 5 Niches of the Week. This is episode 58, and in addition to 5 best-selling trends that I've got to show you, I also added a new section to this video that, maybe we can do every week. We will see. This section is specifically aimed at potentially finding diamonds in the rough based on shirts, or mainly t-shirts, let's be honest. Mainly print-on-demand t-shirts that have seen a dramatic gain in sales velocity over a recent period of time. So why don't we get right into it? Real quick, if you guys want to subscribe to my channel, I'm planning on dropping some of these videos this week. I'm going to do Printful versus Printify pricing video. That's going to be a really good one. I'm going to do an Amazon FBA product search video, show you guys how to generate some ideas for your potentially first FBA product launch. And I'm going to do some Redbubble shop reviews. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. Congrats to the 2 winners from last week's print on demand free giveaway. I will be contacting you as soon as I upload this video, and there will be a new giveaway that is already actually active. So if you guys want to enter, there's a link in the description. You can also go to ryanhogue.com/giveaway. And in the description, you'll find a link to my 8-day print-on-demand, completely free mini course where I send 1 lesson a day via email. It's very thorough. And my print-on-demand Facebook group. So check those out. All right, niche number 1. Who's ready for top 5 niches of the week? And this episode is going to be dedicated to July 4th because we have about 7, 8, 9, 10, about 11 or 12 days to lock in sales for July 4th. If you got, like, when I do these top 5 niches of the week videos, I'm typically aiming to look at about that time horizon, like 1 to 2 weeks. I gave you guys a heads up about July 4th too, like over a month in advance, I think. So that's ideally when you want to get in there. But if you are like in tier 10 right now and you just want to get some sales, get to tier 25 or 25 to 100, you should probably be targeting July 4th because that's what's going to be selling like crazy for the next like 10 days. And if you look at the research tools right now, you're going to be seeing all the Father's Day, Juneteenth stuff. So it's a little bit diluted with things that are not going to be, well, put it this way, they're going to see a serious drop off in sales given that the dates related with those holidays have come to pass. Well, actually, today's Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to the fathers. All right, so niche number 1, and by the way, you can't go wrong with July 4th. There are so many niches within that parent niche that you can't go wrong. So this one is the Presidents plus alcohol niche, and Leek Patriotic, Leek being like probably the most successful Merch by Amazon parent brand that I'm aware of, at least. They absolutely smash July 4th. They've just got so many really good, I don't even know. They create their own sub niches, by the way. I don't think that they copied these from anybody. I'm pretty sure they just came up with Ben Drankin, George Sloshington, Teddy Boozevelt, Drinking Like Lincoln. Someone made one called Richard Mixon, which, by the way, that's somebody came up with that themselves. You see it right there. Richard Mixon. He's got Richard Nixon in the shot glass and the mixer. And yeah, you notice too how they've kind of styled these. A lot of them have headbands. They've got the aviator sunglasses with the American flags. By the way, if anybody's like, well, how the heck do I make these graphics? I don't have that kind of skill. Don't worry, I can relate, guys, but you don't need to be a good graphic artist to do this. You can find open source photos or paintings or, pictures of paintings, I guess. And you can use the Cartoonize app and it will do this for you. I made a video where I walked you through exactly how to do this. I dropped it a couple days ago. I will link to it right here in case anybody missed it. You know what? I just realized I forgot to delete this slide and I ended up not adding it to top 5 niches of the week, but why don't we just keep it as a bonus niche? Guys, whenever there's these big holidays coming, we always pretty much see dinosaurs plus holiday as cross niche. So here you go. You got Amerisaurus Rex. He's got his red, white, and blue sunglasses, his cape, his American flag, and his tiny little T-Rex arm. If you have the ability to pull this off, or you want to go and try to pay somebody on Fiverr, maybe, or wherever you go to get your original graphics created, you can, and by the way, if you don't know what Fiverr is, I'll drop a link in the description. I think they hook you up with a free $5 coupon after your first your first purchase, but basically Fiverr's a marketplace where you used to be able to get anything done for $5. Now they've added a service fee, so it's $7 at a minimum. But you can get original graphics made sometimes. Someone told me the other week, they showed me one of their best-selling Father's Day designs. And I was like, nice, man. I really like the design. And they were like, yeah, I paid somebody on Fiverr 2 years ago, and this is what they gave me. I mean, this design is like a annual bestseller around Father's Day that makes them thousands of dollars in profit. So that came from Fiverr, guys. Anything's possible, right? So Amerisaurus Rex, that's your bonus niche that I forgot to remove. Niche number 2, and this one is vertical American flag. And sometimes you can style the vertical American flag. So you've got like baseball bats making up the American flag. You've got a beer being poured out of an American flag. They've got the beer tap pouring a beer. You've got the fireworks saying "just here to bang" in the vertical American flag. You've got Trump in the vertical American flag, and you've even got like Bigfoot behind me in the vertical American flag. Guys, by the way, why do I recommend vertical American flag? Actually, you know what? It's not me recommending. Well, actually, yeah. Why do I recommend vertical instead of horizontal? Well, I recommend vertical because vertical sells better than horizontal. Why does horizontal sell better than vertical? Oh yeah, because like I always recommend, guys, fill the graphic space available. If we're talking merch by Amazon and pretty much any t-shirt printer, the part of the shirt that's available to print on is portrait. It's a vertical rectangle. So if you have a vertical American flag, you're going to have a bigger, bolder, easy to read design that customers are more likely to click and buy. So just, stash that away. Mental note. This is what's working. You can still try to sell a horizontal flag, but you don't need to get complicated. We see this is working. And I know this isn't really like one sub niche. What I'm really trying to show you guys, if you have like a list of best-selling niches year round, you can just mix in to a vertical American flag the text highly associated with that sub niche. And seriously, it can work. By the way, I also dropped a design tutorial for how to do this. If you guys would like to see that video and follow along and create your own designs, I will link to it right here. So no excuses, right? You know how to do the cartooned American presidents. You know how to do the vertical American flags. So get some of these done. And here you go, BSR history of the baseball flag. Looks like it's trending in the right direction. Current BSR, 37,000. Niche number 3. And niche number 3, again, I'm not giving you a specific sub-niche because there's so many different directions you can take this. Like, I'm looking over here at my little micro Chihuahua Pablo, and it's like I could take the cartoonized version of Pablo that I showed you guys when I was showing you how to cartoonize the American presidents. I could drop one of these American flags over his eyes and give him the American flag sunglasses over his eyes and make like a July 4th Chihuahua dad shirt. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that far-fetched. These are all high traffic keywords that we're just intersecting here. So yeah, there's a lot of different directions you can take it. By the way, if you need a source for these American style sunglasses, check out All American Graphics from the makers of All Sunsets. They also sponsored this week's giveaway. So shout out to them. I will put a link in the description. They are the go-to spot for July 4th graphics. And it's like $30 for a year, something like that. Maybe it might be 33. I don't remember. All right, so here's just a couple examples. So you don't have to take me at my word that these are selling really well. The Ben Drankin, he's got his American Aviators. You see one next to that, American Aviators. Lincoln with his Aviators. All American Boy. Suck It England with George Washington. All American Dad. So you had All American Boy and then All American Dad. Whoever made those designs, they've got 2 bestsellers right now. One with 16,000 BSR, the other with 22,000. You've got the Bald Eagle with his aviators on. By the way, I saw some Bald Eagle designs also selling without aviators, but with like American flag headbands. So whatever you want to do. You got the Ben Drankin, you got the Drinkin' Like Lincoln, you got the George Sloshington. I mean, the aviators are everywhere, guys. And you can keep going. I mean, the presidents are the ones that I put here because honestly, I just started at the top. So I'm looking at like the best sellers and just kind of scrolling down. And the real takeaway is that the best way to probably use these aviators is to cross niche them with the, presidents. But either way, you can obviously do it without the presidents and still make money. So here you go, BSR history, as you would expect, trending the right direction, heading to July 4th. The America aviators here with the text America, 9,970 BSR. I would anticipate that will continue to improve. All right, niche number 4. And this one, I mean, here I was just kind of saying like, all right, there's a million different sub niches I could choose. Some of the best selling ones like the fireworks director, if you see me running, you should run. Like those are kind of overdone in my opinion. So I tried to find one that I thought was like more accessible. However, with more accessible comes, let's say you rank number 1 on the organic keywords, less sales, right? If you rank number 1 on fireworks director, you're making way more sales than if you rank number 1 on too cool for British rule. But I think you can break into, well, I'm saying this now as I put this video out there that a couple thousand people are going to see, but you know, too cool for British rule to me was like representative of a July 4th sub niche that seemed like there was in my mind, a realistic higher likelihood of you guys actually making sales, as opposed to me saying like, oh yeah, fireworks director, you know, because that one's overdone every single year. Because I mean, customers buy those shirts though, so it's for a good reason. Anyways, too cool for British rule. You've got your George Washington with his sunglasses and the text above, text below, etc. Standard formula here. Again, there's plenty of places to go get your George Washington graphics, or like I said, check out my tutorial of how to make them on your own. And here you see BSR history. This one shot up very quickly, and you can see 70,000 BSR currently, but it looked like around mid-March, this really started to sell, and then it kind of leveled out early June at about 100,000 BSR or below. Niche number 5. Here we go. This was one that I just chose to, again, just kind of grabbing for sub niches that I thought were funny, that I liked, and I saw a lot of these ones specifically posted recently, like in the last month of 2021. And I always like that, where I'm suggesting a niche that I'm seeing people find success that posted this year. Not just like, oh yeah, I've been in that niche since 2018, 2019, and this shirt sells every year. So a lot of these have been posted this year, and it says safety third, which is pretty funny. And you've got the, people lighting fireworks. So BSRs, 400,000, 133,000, 159,000, 550,000. This one, the one that put it on my radar, 42,000 BSR currently, and projected to increase by Flying Research, which are my research tools of choice. Also, they're sponsoring this week's giveaway, so show them some love. And of course, there'll be a link in the description. You're really going to like this new section, by the way, that I'm using Flying Research to find the shirts that I'm going to suggest here. So this is the seller trends section. And what this really aims to do is look for products that have seen a massive gain in BSR very recently over a short period of time, because sometimes this is indicative of a new big trend. Not always. I mean, honestly, not most of the time, but sometimes it is. So if you want like one of those really big trends and you don't even have to know why it's popular, you can check out the seller trends section. By the way, I did my best to trademark search these, but don't trust me when you see me put these shirts up, because I do cover a lot of niches, and I always recommend do your own niche research and your validation really. I'm doing the research, but do the validation, right? Check trademark database, check Amazon merch, see how many of these are available for sale and when they were posted. Try to get a feel for if these are safe, because like if I'm going to be throwing up a bunch of shirts, like I said, I try to remember to check all these, but just in case, right? And even if the trademark database says it's okay, doesn't mean the merch algorithm will. And sometimes one gets through and none of the other ones get through. So I just want to throw out a reminder that, please, before you post anything, just do research. It doesn't take more than like 30 seconds, honestly. All right, so here we go. Some seller trends that have been big BSR winners recently. The first one is a recognizable one, probably associated with Father's Day. It says, "I'm not old, I'm classic." I know I recommended that in a Father's Day video a couple weeks ago. Second one, "Surely not everybody was kung fu fighting." Now, I saw that last week too. I don't know why it's trending, but it is. Third one, "I just hope both teams have fun." It's a popular football shirt that we see trending around the Super Bowl every year. Fourth one is a bald eagle with his sunglasses and his July 4th headband. The fifth one, "I teach my kids to hit and steal," and it's a baseball shirt. The next one, "This is my grilling shirt." So as it's summer, everybody's outside grilling. They've got a beer and they've got a hot dog. The last one says, "I still call it Comiskey." And I don't get that one, but that one definitely has seen a massive gain in BSR recently, so it might be worth looking into. All right, looking ahead, if you want to sell some products related to seemingly random holidays, July 20th is Moon Day. July 21st, National Hot Dog Day. July 22nd, Hammock Day. July 23rd, Vanilla Ice Cream Day. And July 24th, National Tequila Day. Might be celebrating that one. All right, so check those out. You never know if there's a diamond in the rough there. I sell some FBM, like meaning through Seller Central, products related to weird holidays, because if I miss the boat this year, well, hey, they'll be there next year, right? So to me, that's kind of more worth it to me to be hitting these like pretty random, less keyword traffic holidays. All right, bonus designs, bonus shirts. I like this lacrosse shirt because it's indexed on July 4th. So it's two really high level niches like lacrosse, July 4th. And I like how easily you can execute this design. This is a simple clipping mask applied to a graphic. So this is like a super simple design. I think that, you know, it's big, it works. The color contrast is decent enough against that black shirt. And they've got 10 reviews. So that's a pretty, you know, it's making some sales. And I think that's a design that anybody can execute. All right, deleted designs. Let's power through these as we wind down. What do we see here? UCLA. So stay away from the colleges, multiple UCLA actually. A trans shirt, some LGBT. Well, it's Hello Kitty actually. That's why. So don't try to rip off Hello Kitty. And yeah, anyways, a lot of UCLA shirts. Stay away from the colleges in general and the fraternities and sororities as a general rule of thumb. All right, so guys, ryanhogue.com/giveaway. Thank you to the sponsors for this week's giveaway for my print-on-demand mega pack. That will include Flying Research print-on-demand research tools. As you saw, I'm using them to help me come up with the content for this video. Automate POD, print-on-demand design creation automation via a Chrome extension that takes like 3 minutes to start using. 3 minutes. We give you a bunch of spreadsheets that you can use, so you don't even have to make them yourself. All American Graphics, premium pre-made graphics that'll help you make some July 4th sales. It should pay for itself in like 6 sales. Bubble Scout, the only Redbubble niche research and validation tool, as the final sponsor of the giveaway. Thank you guys for sponsoring it. And you can enter at ryanhogue.com/giveaway. Of course, the link is in the description. It takes like 10 seconds to enter, and 2 winners will be announced next Sunday. Before I leave you guys, just wanted to remind you, I wrote a full print-on-demand course that, by the way, I've been updating constantly for the last, like, I don't know, month. Just kind of make the content fresh for 2021. Walks you through how I make 6-figure print-on-demand sales every single year. Even if you don't need the course, if I can help you get to higher income faster, do the math. Like, if it's fast enough relative to how long it would take without the course, it'll actually pay for itself and make you more money. It's a weird one to think about, but think about it. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you like, subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow.